First heard about Burning Man in 2001 or 2002. A group of people, formerly with the camp Illuminaughty, was forming a new camp called Soul System. And so in 2003, I made it out to Burning Man. And 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and then I took a break. In 2003, we brought out, at the time, the largest sound system Burning Man had ever seen. They were 8 stacks of speakers.
So you're an audio guy, or you just found your way into audio worlds?
Raver.
Yeah. It's fair.
We built a 8-point circular sound system with, I think it was 64 subwoofers, 48 tops, absolutely massive. And on Wednesday night, Mr. Larry Harvey himself said, "You are being shut down right now because we only allow 300 watts pointed towards the city." And we had...
It was in a circle, yeah.
Yeah. So, point of pride. He himself said, "Be quiet."
He placed his hat upon your cones and silence reigned.
Yes.
Always coming up with rules, that dude.
Did you stick with them for the rest of your time, or did you move around in camps?
Soul System really only stayed around in their incarnation for 2 years. They stuck around for a little bit more. The Sonic Runway was one of the spin-offs.
Oh, Sonic Runway is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
One of the greatest pieces ever.
Yes, that actually first came out in 2003 as part of Soul System. So Rob and I, worked on that together. I actually worked on the sound analysis system for that, electronics things that analyzed the incoming sound and created a heartbeat. And that heartbeat was the original, or this is the signal that started the Sonic Runway.
That is so neat. Sonic Runway is my favorite place to watch slow motion bike crashes. It's just like you hang out for a minute or two and you're just going to see two hippies like staring off in different directions, going 1 mile an hour, just into each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's in downtown San Jose now, isn't it?
Is it really? That's
Yes.
so rad. I had no idea.
It's a permanent installation out there.
Fuck yeah.
Good.
Unfortunately, there aren't too many art cars in San Jose to power. Well. Welcome to Accuracy Third. I'm Rex.
I'm D-Day.
And I'm Beth.
And this is season 6. Where
No,
we
it isn't.
This is season 6.
Is it?
Yes.
I was so scared for a second.
This is season 6, where we interview people from Illumination Village about Illumination Village and what it's like to have your camp moved off Esplanade.
Don't spoil it.
In this episode, we interview capital J, capital M about Illumination Village and what it's like to have your camp moved off Esplanade.
Look, sometimes we have a theme. Sometimes we plan a theme. Sometimes a theme is dropped upon our lap, like a
pandemic, or after a pandemic, people being in Illumination Village when Illumination Village moves.
Stay tuned to future episodes of season 6, where we'll definitely talk to more people from Illumination Village for reasons.
I can't wait to hear what AEZ thinks about wherever the hell AEZ was this year. Did you have a camp? Did your camp move? Get 5 people to email us separately.
Man,
Pretend that you're not doing a whole big bit and just get on the show and feed us the same genre of information week after week.
AEZ was so totally season 4.
Couldn't tell you.
That was last season.
I haven't listened
5?
to the podcast in
That
years.
couldn't have been.
And, we recorded them during season 4, but, we've got, 2 or 3 AEZ in the first 5 or 7 episodes of
I see.
season 5.
I guess that makes sense. I was just thinking about when we had our listener party at AEZ.
We have it at AEZ.
I don't remember that. I mean, AEZ is full of a bunch of camps, and we definitely had our listener appreciation party
at
several
camps.
Yeah.
At different camps.
Which may have been on the corner of AEZ. I don't know. Years, man. Years. So this week, we're talking to JM, a legitimate builder of practically everything you see on Playa.
Yeah, he's not using any alternative energy. This is good old-fashioned combustion.
And sound.
And sound.
You can really tell how that guy builds so much stuff by his affect. JM is full of beans and energy and excitement, and I imagine he makes his projects the same exact way.
A person who has to compulsively be making things all the time. That's novel. What would that be like?
Have never met someone like that before in my life. Truly baffling to see in a human being.
JM makes things what go boom.
This year, he has made a lot of things that go whoosh, but he's made a completely new thing, of which I've never heard about before, and I'm not entirely sure how pleasant it will be to interact with it. But I'm going to find it this year and interact with it and bring my fucking earplugs.
It's going to be amazing.
When you go out at Burning Man, you bring your earplugs.
What?
This is why we've lost you so many years in a row.
Oh,
got
that
earplugs
explains so
in.
much.
Just wandering off. We were shouting behind you.
I mostly put my earplugs in when we're next to one of those real loud art cars that buzzes you in Deep Playa.
Oh,
What?
my God.
Or when I'm led into some dance camp, because you never know when like 3/4 of the party is going to be like, we're dancing now for 20 minutes. And that's when I got to put my beans in my ears.
I thought that's when we left. Isn't that usually when we leave?
It's usually when we leave, but we usually give them a couple minutes of us hanging out there so that they think we're at the same party they're at, and then they get distracted, and then we ghost.
It's not their fault. They all have bad taste, and also so do all of the DJs.
Beth, as the mayor of our nascent village, would you like to let us know what it's like to have your camp move from one year to another? Say you had your camp on 6 o'clock and you took a COVID break from Burning Man and came right back to Burning Man and found out that your camp is next to the garbage and commissary.
Our camp moving was only slightly traumatic. I think it is so funny though that in camp meetings now we just need to hold the space for that trauma where it's like Ray needs to talk for a minute about all of the stuff with the Portos again, even though we've all heard it and we're going to be in different circumstances this year. Look, sometimes Portos are traumatic and we need to discuss again how they didn't work.
It took us like 4 years to get past the trauma of the bag of dicks.
It's taking us 1 year to listen to all of the traumas and figure out how to fix them of Illumination Village.
Segway!
Does anyone know anyone that makes a ton of shit all the time? Nonstop? Not me. This is JM.
With that said, with that shouted.
Hey, here's JM.
In shape. Shape it up, get it straight. Go forward, go ahead. We're making music, we're baking bread. So if you good, in shape. Shape it up, get it straight. Go forward, it's not too late.
We're making music and we're making bass. That's the 808 hitting like an earthquake.
My friends call me JM. 2 letters, big J, big M. 1 finger on the keyboard is great. It's lazy. Very easy to type. Love it, love it, love it. But people outside of the real world sometimes, on occasion, call me Emcee HAMSTER.
That is fucking incredible.
Oh man, I would own that so hard.
That is great.
Was this an on playa appellation? Did you acquire Emcee HAMSTER?
So in 2004, again with Soul System, we brought a ginormous sound system out there. We were at 10 o'clock in Esplanade.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Crowning jewel.
We brought Stonehenge.
Like a little 18-inch tall Stonehenge.
Oh no, scale. With speakers for stones. Yeah.
I remember Stonehenge.
Yes. And the camp had a rule. It's, we're going to be partying all night. Let's be quiet during the day. And I know how the equipment works. Mm-hmm. So I brought a burned copy, yes, pirated, of the Hamster Dance Techno remix.
Oh, my.
Oh, I see.
I think around 9, 10 a.m. I don't remember. I walked up to the sound system. Click, click, click. Eject on the CDJ, pop the disc in, close the lid, turn up the levels. Douche, 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 douche. People started coming out. They were dancing. And after one song, done. That's all I had in me. One song, one disc.
But that's enough to get a name right there.
That was enough to get a name.
Yeah.
You got to own it.
That's plenty.
I would say that solved the problem, but you didn't MC, you DJ'd, and they didn't call you DJ Hamster.
But Emcee HAMSTER is so much cuter.
Oh, I know.
If you haven't noticed, Rex, white people are pretty shit with hip hop culture. Just big assumptions in that quarter. Not you. You're kind of a hip hop head.
I know.
Yeah.
Emcee HAMSTER.
McHamster.
McHamster.
Hamster.
Yes. I'm a self-taught engineer that got paid for engineering for a very short period of time who hasn't actually touched software for work in a very long time. But since I was little, my mom would get mad at me when I would start taking apart the things around the house. It's just always been interesting.
Autodidactic engineer.
Tinkerer.
Yeah.
A tinkerer, a maker. Well, now a maker, used to be a breaker. Just love making things, love art, love creating. And it just worked out that Soul System became a venue of very welcoming people with a lot of very intelligent people that said, yes, we will support you. How much budget would you like? Yes, we will make that happen for you.
Nice.
And they were just always, always there.
And so were you camping with the folks that built the Sonic Runway until you took your break?
So I camped with Soul System for the first 2 years. After that, friends and family, the collective, brought them out to Burning Man in 2005, and then a smaller version of them in 2006. And then in 2007, that's when I got introduced to Illumination Village. And in 2005, I brought my first fire art to the playa.
What was that?
So as part of Friends and Family, it was awesome. I sketched out a giant gearhead, a smiley face, the Friends and Family logo in Photoshop with a truck to scale with a dance floor right in front of it. And then it happened.
Nice.
And the gearhead was in Photoshop to scale 47 feet high with poofers around the perimeter.
Oh, wow.
And the concept was to use the same sampling system I did for Soul System, but it had been evolved a lot further by then. Not only was it doing beat detection, but it was also doing phrase and measure extraction of the music in real time.
Oh, wow.
And so, without any operators, it could listen to the music, the DJ, and send dancing fireballs over the dance floor as the lighting, as the effect, without anyone having to push buttons or do anything, which is quite awesome.
That is rad.
This is his first piece of fire art.
Yes, that was the first.
Yeah.
First
Big swing.
And so then I got introduced to Illumination Village, and I'm like, wow, here's the Flaming Lotus Girls. Here is.
Just a lot of people who know what to do with fuel.
Yeah, turns out.
A lot of welders.
Yes. Met Propaniac when he was driving around the big propane truck with a sign on the side, crack. Yeah, those were the days.
Right, so my favorite still is the one that says perfectly safe on the back of the huge.
The giant sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuel sphere is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. That year, actually, it was frightening. That's what the year we had Crude Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
07. Yeah.
Yes. Crude Awakening had these 500-gallon tanks of diesel that was pressurized with propane that had explosive bolts holding the pressure inside.
Explosive bolts?
Holy shit.
Yes, like NASA stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. That
No,
kind of
everyone
stuff.
kept assuring us that NASA scientists were involved in this some way.
Well, yeah, Ted worked on it.
So after Crude Awakening, they brought those tanks back and they parked them right behind my tent. The smell of diesel when I was sleeping. I mean, I knew it was not going to catch on fire. I knew it was safe enough.
You can know that, but can you convince your brain that you've got diesel
While you're
fumes
sleeping.
wafting into your tent?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I was in good company.
Was this why you took a break?
The economy was going south.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so I decided, you know what? Let's save up a little bit. Let's be, what's the word adults use?
Adulting.
Yes. Yes. Let's use that word.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of worked.
So what was, if there was a thing or a moment your first year where you realized that this was a thing you were going to have to continue doing for the foreseeable future?
You know, I was always the one who'd go around and wanted to experience everything and do everything and see everything. And all of a sudden, here I am in this place where that is not possible. Where if I wanted to do everything, I would be exhausted and still not be able to do everything. And so then I realized I lost the fear of missing things. The kids call it FOMO now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost that fear. I lost that fear at Burning Man.
Oh,
That's great.
That's great. That's that's like confronting the inevitability of death, but it's the inevitability
of
missing
missing.
out on something
Yeah.
really fucking cool.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
You were
Oh,
missing
yeah.
out on almost everything.
You go
at
to Burning Man to miss out on 95% of everything.
More.
Oh, you're doing good.
This
Yeah,
year
you're
is
not
a
that
long
fucking
time.
industrious. When do you leave camp during the day? Twice.
I was a ranger, like a basic dirt ass ranger for 7 years, and I made sure to wander every block of the city. And you're a ranger, so you're paying attention to your surroundings. You're looking at everything. And I get back and I'm looking at photos of stuff on streets, and I'm like, what? But that thing was 14 stories tall. How did I miss it?
We had that giant hammock structure like right across from our camp this year. I forgot to go.
Oh, Sky Bar was right across, who wasn't very far from us, and they came over and invited us twice. We could see their bar up in the air from our camp. Never went.
Yeah.
You can't get to anything. Might as well go to everything.
I was busy.
Was there anything else from your first year that was so novel and extraordinary that it sticks with you?
You know, of everything, it was really just the loss of the fear of missing something. That was just so profound. I was 23 at the time. I was going from event to event, party to party. You know, back in those days, I'd keep my car packed up with weekend camping trips, weekend music festival trips. I wouldn't even unpack, right? That was like, go to everything, try not to miss anything. That was me back then.
That's a pretty good 20s.
It was amazing. Yes, brain cells lost due to lack of sleep. Only the lack of sleep. And having lost that fear and knowing at Burning Man, there's so much stuff going on, I can rest. I can take a step back. I can hang out with people. I love this.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
We could hang out with people.
That's almost the reason we don't see anything at Burning Man. Is because we just end up hanging out with people we like.
Yeah, we only see them once a year, some of them.
Some of them we've never met before. Some of them we'll never see again.
Profound. Some of them we'll never see again.
Yep.
Oh, only a few of them is because they're dead. Most of them it's because they suck and can't make it to Burning Man again. Losers.
Wow.
You mean those other 79,000 people?
West Coast Mace.
So when you came back in 2019, were you with Illumination Village again?
I was with Illumination Village again in 2019.
And how much had they changed in that period of time?
The hard part about my participation in Illumination Village is my tent is usually about 20 feet off the esplanade. So my experience of Illumination Village is everyone walking by and screaming and yelling and having an absolute blast. And I look behind me into the village every once in a while and I see people out there being all calm and playing with toys. But then when I look onto the Esplanade, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'd much rather people watch on the Esplanade than back in camp.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Wow, camp right on Esplanade. That's an undertaking.
Loud.
Were you out there this year?
We were not on Esplanade this year.
That's
We were
there was a big shift when where Illumination Village was.
Yes. We were at 3 o'clock and Forget Me Not. Yes. All the way up there in the F place.
So did you enjoy it? Not everyone did.
It was a different experience. And as a different experience, it was what it was.
That's very politic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a mover and shaker?
I can politic, yes.
Wild.
So, different neighborhood. Did it feel like it changed the texture, the context, the vibe of the camp?
So the less political answer is when we were on Esplanade, we had a center, right? We had a collective to ourselves. So it was, let's make the Esplanade shine. Let's give the participants a little entrance into the village to see the art. Because we were flanked by 4 streets. We were spread out. The art was
You
spread out.
smeared across an entire block?
Well, 3 sides and then a little like alleyway, but yes. And so we had to spread things out a lot. And so the cohesiveness really wasn't there. The camaraderie within the village of, hey, let's go help each other out because we can see each other, we can hear each other. It was less than it had been before. There were beautiful, beautiful pieces of art that were well placed at a corner, but no one would walk into that corner.
I'll pull back the curtain a little for you. Through no intent or planning of our own, you're the third 2020 Illumination Village camper with the interviews. Yep.
This has just been the vibe we have apparently this year. All very different people coming at Burning Man in very different ways, who all have very different opinions about this move.
We'll also say that was the political answer.
Yeah. Oh, your campmates have been less politic. But there's strong feelings in either direction.
Yeah, that's
Because there was
the thing is
strong positive feelings
strongly
too.
positive response from one. And
Yeah, and a strongly negative
negative
response from the other.
It was actually, it felt like an honor being one of the entrances to a plaza, right? We dragged people in from a distance because they saw and they heard what we were doing. We were the entrance, like we were the impetus for other people to come into that plaza. Right? It felt great being there and the opportunity to start to help out the city's vision of getting people off the Esplanade. It was nice for that. But we brought a lot of art out, and a lot of people put in a ridiculous amount of effort. And a show would happen, and there's 10 people standing there.
Yeah.
what was your experience overall this year with the return from the long sleep?
I realized that Burning Man was no longer a destination, it was home. And as home, you go home, as beautiful it might be, as messy as it might be, you never say, wow, this place is amazing, or wow, this place is messy, or wow, right? That just doesn't happen. It's like, it's just home. You go there, it is what it is. And that's what this year felt, was it was home. It was neither different or amazing or exciting or underappealing. It just was where the heart was supposed to be.
Did you experience any specific challenges? There, I know there was almost everybody struggled real hard this year. But was there anything in particular that hit you hard?
The streets were really, really rough, and I brought a art car out there.
Oh, you brought an art car?
Yes, it was my second art car, and this one, well, the back end sheared off.
Oh my god!
I mean, it literally just broke off. Wheel and the entire assembly sitting there in the middle of the street. It literally sheared off from all of.
What was the structure that was the like?
What was
you
the thing that
describe your
shouldn't
art
have
car?
sheared off?
Yeah.
So what did you mutate?
This has gone through several hands. Mine is one of the later ones. It was originally a playground teeter-totter. So it was an airplane that kids could sit on the wings and teeter-totter back and forth.
Okay.
And there was a little pilot seat where you can sit in there and be teetered and tottered by the kids on the other side. I'd much rather be on the wings than in the seat, right? So that was in someone's yard for a very long time, rusting away. And then someone else had a recumbent bicycle that she made herself. And that got mutated and turned into something else, became motorized. But it just had this beautiful bent aluminum frame of it. And someone else got a hold of it and added wheelchair motors to it, brought it to Burning Man. It just sort of died. And it sat in a warehouse very, very long time. And so I got a hold of this and pretty much rebuilt all the electromechanical systems, rebuilt the motor controller, rebuilt the motors, rebuilt the tires, rebuilt the drive, steering, the linkages from the front and back. And this thing is beautiful. His name is John Fromm.
John Fromm.
John Fromm.
Oh, nice.
Should have done the cargo cult year.
That was the year it went out.
Oh, yeah.
And yes. It was steered by your feet. And as you steer to the left, your feet would actually cause the entire teeter-totter to the bank to the left.
Oh, fun. Okay, I love this.
Yeah, that's
You
cool.
steer to the right, and the entire thing would bank to the right. It was so much fun. I loved going around. There was a larger airplane doing circles and donuts around that.
But
it was
then
small.
what happened?
Yeah, how did it shear off?
2022 sheared it off.
Yes, the playa was not very flat. It was very bumpy.
It was really tough. Like, I had been in a bike accident, a bicycling accident. My wrist was mostly healed, but it would just hurt like a son of a bitch because the roads were just like hard bumps the entire set of the hard road. I can't imagine on how big were your tires? I'm not picturing like the scale of it.
Oh, this thing is tiny, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2-person mutant vehicle. The full footprint is just under 8 feet by 8 feet, but that includes the wings, and you don't really do anything with the wings. So it is actually really, really tiny. The 2 front tires are moped tires. The rear tire was a bicycle tire.
Wow. Okay.
Right? It's tiny.
Small and
Super
light, I would imagine.
I could pick the entire thing up and load it in my trailer all by myself.
Wow.
Maybe even too light.
It was the aluminum frame that failed.
That was my assumption.
It was the aluminum frame. It decided, I'm soft, I'm malleable.
But only so malleable.
Was anyone hurt?
No one was hurt.
Yay,
It wasn't
congratulations.
too far away from camp.
The best kind of shearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a little hand truck, walked over to it, put the broken pieces on the head truck, and just walked it back to camp. In the walk of shame,
Yep.
head down, legs burning because it's heavy, and the playa was soft and bumpy.
As awful a story as that is, it's so much better than the one that flashed through my head when you said my art car sheared off its back end. I was picturing U-joints just like all up and
Could have been like real catastrophic.
I mean, that's as good as that failure could have happened.
It happened a day before the burn.
Yeah.
And so it experienced a lot. And, our camp within Illumination Village, 20 some odd people, we had 4 art cars. So I wasn't short of transportation. Just hop on to the next one.
So this is your second art car. What was your first art car?
The first art car was the carrotmobile.
The carrotmobile.
The carrotmobile. Went out there in 2005, 2006 was the first year. It was after the observation that all of the art cars out there were hard. They were steel, they were wood, they weren't very comfortable. And I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to have something soft. And so it was an 8-foot by 8-foot Tempur-Pedic bed.
fabulous.
I love it already.
And I can't draw, right? I literally cannot draw.
Our listeners cannot see your draws. So we're even.
But I found a copy. I got a copy of SketchUp. And I was able to draw cones and circles and squares and rectangles. And that's really all I could do in there. Mm-hmm. And I realized, this cone, I can color it orange. It's a carrot. This box, this rectangle, paint fill green. It's a carrot on a grass bed. Yes. I like this. And that's really how it started.
What was the frame that it was built on, or like what was its original?
It was a
motor?
1970s Easy Go golf cart that
Yes.
I picked up from some golf cart retirement house down in, I think it was in like Santa Clara or something.
Is that just like the code for stealing a golf cart?
It was where golf carts went to die.
Yeah.
I mean, they sold golf cart parts and new golf carts, and
This was one of those old diesel golf carts.
it was electric. It was nice. Yes. It was easy to fix, easy to work on.
So it was a golf cart base shaped like a giant carrot that was actually an 8-foot by 8-foot bed.
It was a 8-foot by 8-foot bed that was placed on top of the golf cart, so hiding the golf cart frame entirely, with two ginormous carrots sticking out the top, lit from the inside. So they were big and bright. And I would just go around at night and people would come up, "Can I ride with you?" I'm like, "Yes." And I got to say, the Billion Bunny March, that was fun.
Perfect.
That was so much fun.
You could have been the head of the parade float.
It was quite full of bunnies. They were all over those carrots.
Why did you stop bringing that one? What catastrophic failure happened in your first art car?
There was no catastrophic failure there. It was, I took a break from Burning Man and no longer had storage for it.
Gotcha. So this was a let go of in your big break.
Yes, yes.
That's fair. A golf cart art car is
Hard
big
to
thing
store.
Yeah, big thing to store and doesn't have a lot of utility outside.
No, not at all.
Although you could have taken up golf.
Yeah, you're in Visitation Valley, like that golf course is right there.
With the number of hours required to set up and tear this thing down.
That means you can get a late tea time and
Yes.
not be bugged by it. And spend all morning putting it together.
Set about as much time assembly as a game of golf.
Are you planning on going back next year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good time, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good time.
In fact, I think you have some very specific plans about next year, right?
Actually, now that I think of it, I do, yeah. So, gosh, what year was that? That was probably 2006 or 7. I was with Lucy Hosking. I think she's coming on your show in a couple of weeks. And she brought out one of her new fire toys out to Red, White, and Blue Beach down in Santa Cruz. It was something that she would eventually name Boom Cookie. It was very, very early at the time. And it really just went boom. It went boom really, really loud. We used it a couple times on the beach. Cops showed up. They thought they heard bombs. They got noise complaints from 5 miles away. We showed them this thing and they realized, wow, this is not a bomb. A bomb is a very, very specific legal definition. It is an enclosed vessel that explodes. This had no top to it. This is not an enclosed vessel.
Oh, it's a bucket.
Yeah.
It's a noise
Bucket
maker.
full of black powder.
Propane. Yes, propane.
Gas is a powder.
It's a physics experiment or demonstration. It's a physics demonstration.
yeah.
Yes, it demonstrates what happens when you get a stoichiometric ratio of 6.5% propane and the rest air, and you ignite it. And it goes boom, really, really loud.
You need a YouTube channel.
And I've just been following this thing for a while. Boom Cookie, she'd take it here, she'd take it there, use it at this party, bring it to Burning Man. And I just loved it because there was nothing else out there like it.
That's not the thing that emits the giant stable smoke ring, is it?
It emits nothing.
Okay.
Some exhaust gas, but all the energy goes acoustic.
Nice.
It goes boom. That's really all it does.
I don't know if you know the thing I'm talking about, but there's, I've never gotten close enough to see how that thing functions. I've gotten close enough to hear the boom and see the smoke ring. Never found it. I'm curious.
I don't think I've actually found that one myself. I've seen a smoke ring.
Comes out every year. If anyone knows the smoke ring people, tell them about us and we'll talk to them. And then you can hear us talk to them for you.
Yes.
Community, man.
So Boom Cookie.
So Boom Cookie was the impetus to all this. I didn't know it at the time. And Boom Cookie is a performance piece. It is someone pushing buttons and in their head trying to time it right. And I like making things that do things by themselves. Right? I want to push a button and make the button just do all the things, have it tune itself and just find the right ratios by itself. And so this was a couple years ago. I never ended up using it, but I built a little wireless controller doodah that I intended to be able to walk up to a participant, a consumer of the arts, and say, hey, we want to push my button. And they push the button and they count to 3 and all of a sudden they jump up going, what the hell was that? And Boom Cookie would go off.
Huh.
But that year at Burning Man didn't happen. It was the first year that
There was a thing that distracted us.
some kind of a distraction. Yes. An event that put us all to sleep for a year. And then the next year, or 3. So I went out to Burning Man in 2019 and Boom Cookie was there. And I just had so much fun pushing the buttons. And there was nothing at Burning Man like it. There are poofers. There are liquid flame. We're not supposed to call them throwers. But there was nothing that just went boom. And I gotten kind of tired of poofers. They go poof. They're safe.
Yeah, these will blow out your eardrums.
Don't stand too close. Yes. So I was driving home from Burning Man, thinking about Boom Cookie. What can I do with Boom Cookie? And I realized, why does it have to be Boom Cookie? Why not this be part of an actual interactive piece? Let's make this something that other people can work with. Instead of, someone who knows what they're doing, pushing buttons, or just a button, let's have something that people can play with, right? Let's have a game that a 5-year-old can figure out. It's got to be easy.
Because high kids are going to play with it.
I was thinking 5-year-olds.
Same.
Same. And when you set a threshold like that, it's got to be easy. The instructions have to be insignificant. You got to be able to walk up to it and go, yes, I understand. So I started thinking about, what sort of experience we can have. And I realized, well, why only have one Boom Cookie? Why not 2? Oh, economies of scale says I can make more than 1. I can make 10. I can make 20. I eventually settled on 12. I wanted to go 13 for the baker's dozen. I love to cook. But 13 just wasn't a nice divisible number, primes and all that stuff. So, all right. Well, we've now got this idea for 12 Boom Cookies. Well, what else can we do here? And I realized these can be output devices. They can be something which represents an action, right? It could be an effect. Okay, we now have effect. What game can we play? What's really, really simple? What's something that you can start playing and it gets harder, and it'll get your heart rate up the more you play it. And if you play and you get really good at it, you get a nice quick return, that nice little serotonin hit of fun. But a 5-year-old's got to play it.
Tic-tac-toe.
Oh, close. Simon.
I was going to say Simon.
Simon, yes. 4 buttons. It gets more difficult as you go. You don't need instructions to play. Do what it tells you to do. And the more you play it, the faster the sequences go. So your heart rate's going up. You're getting more excited as you go. So we now have Simon. Or, sorry, I'm not supposed to call it Simon. Hasbro owns the copyright, the trademark.
Stewart.
Simone.
Simona. Yes.
Like it?
No relationship at all. All the stuff I said, that's all inspiration. I'm not copying anything. There's still 4 buttons. There's still 4 lights. Has nothing to do with the original.
It's the 4-quadrant memory-orama.
Yes. So we now have 4, we're now calling them boomers. We have poofers and we have boomers, trying to get a new technology out there. Well, boomers by themselves, they would be kind of, they'd be fun, they'd be exciting, but there's got to have more, right? Well, what else can we do? What would be more? Well, I'm in Illumination Village. Illumination Village is a village of fire artists. Look at some poofers on there. I don't like poofers, but other people, they like poofers, and poofers are easy. I already have the propane and the regulator. Let's just throw another solenoid on it. Okay, so we now have 12 boomers, 12 poofers. This isn't good enough. This is not good enough at all. Name of the camp is Illumination Village, and you know what? There are other ways to illuminate other than fire. It says so right there in the name, illuminate. Well, let's throw some lasers at it. So, I got 36 lasers. Okay, well, this isn't enough. What else can we add to this?
Rave kids.
And what do ravers like? More lights, LEDs, blinky things.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So,
I was going to say cheap plastic jewelry.
EL wire.
oh, you're old school.
Bringing it back.
Bring it back. So each one will now have a DMX controller. So I can control a lot of lights. Lots and lots of lights. And one of the first lights is going to be embedded into what I'm calling stars. I'll get to that in a second. Is one of those ginormous LED panels of color changey goodnesses. Okay, so now we have a lot of media. We have boomers, poofers, lasers, lights. What other sort of media, what sort of outputs can we have?
House music.
Wrong camp.
Glitch hop.
Still wrong camp.
Folk music.
Okay. We're getting closer.
Yeah, I was thinking
we're wrong camp.
Like pipe organs?
That is in our camp. We do have pipe organs in our camp. They're fire, of course. They've got fire, but there are pipe organs, yes.
Klaxons.
We do have a klaxon in our camp, yes. There is a klaxon in Illumination Village.
Klaxons are delightfully mechanical. Bells?
Bells. Flamethrowers. No, we got that. No, we're not supposed to call them that. Fog machines. I can add fog machines to this.
Now it's really starting to feel like a rave.
It really is.
So we've got 12 boomers, 12 poofers, 36 lasers, a ridiculous number of LED lights, and 12 fog machines. Okay, we need a theme. What's this going to be called? Well, things go boom. What things go boom? Stars go boom. Supernovas go boom. Supernova. Nope, Nova. Yes. So Nova was born. When you have Nova, you have the theme. You have stars. You have star bases. You can have a game. You can have people welcoming guides. It's an experience. You can tell a story about this. We are accustomed to space stories.
How big is Nova going to be?
Including the safety perimeter, 42 feet by 48 feet.
Whew.
That nice footprint.
It's a nice
You
footprint.
thinking about this as a open playa installation or inside Illville?
Discussions are ongoing. Right now, the discussions have it placed right next to the Esplanade in the open playa with my cat being able to look out to it so I can make sure things aren't breaking. Very, very respectable placement.
One of those things I'm not going to be able to find because it's on the inside of the Esplanade.
Yes. Well, if it's open playa, we don't have these sound restrictions of 300 watts. True. Yes.
True.
How big a crew of people are you working with to bring this out?
The crew is going to be a combination of two. It's going to be the Dragons of Eden and the Nova crew. Total between both is to be at most 10 people.
Wow, that's not very many people.
That's a tight little crew for a project of that scale.
Well, a lot of the engineering that's going into this is thinking about how to make it easy to use and deploy and roll out easy. Right? The idea is pull the trailer out, drop it off the trailer, move the trailer, drop it off the trailer, plug in power, plug in propane, plug in control, done.
All right, we're going to play that back to you when we get back from Burning Man next year. Just that little function of how that's going to work.
Yeah, we'll reach out in October.
I left out the part about feet and legs.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Burning Man is not going to be the debut of Nova, right?
That's right. You've been paying attention. It is going to be going out to Unscrews is going to be the first place this is going to be.
Nice.
That's the first week of May.
Unscrews is the Santa Cruz regional for folks not in the know, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unscrews is at a new location. And the placement there is also going to be quite respectable. See, there's going to be this thing called the Man. It's an effigy if anyone doesn't know what that man is. To the right of the man is going to be the Serpent Mother. And to the left is Nova.
Nice. That is
iconic.
Place of pride, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not done yet. I'm kind of...
First week of May, huh?
First week of May's coming.
Yeah.
You've got a
Yeah,
solid
so much
quarter.
time.
Yes. So much time, and all the parts have been acquired. All the tanks, everything, all the solenoids, all of the relays. I'm right now in the middle of working on the design for all the controls. I'm actually outsourcing the manufacturing and assembly to a factory in China, just because normally I would do this myself. But my eyes are getting older, and I can't quite hold tiny things with tweezers as I used to. And just really, really small parts. Just push a button, magic Oompa Loompas, start singing and dancing, and...
Well, it's not good to think about capitalism that way. I'm sure about that.
There's no good way to think about capitalism.
I got the game actually working 2 nights ago. That was a good little pat on the back.
Excellent.
I got the main controller prototyped and actually working 2 nights before that. And DHL dropped off the first prototype controller that goes into each star. That is what I'm calling the device. Dropped it off just yesterday.
Beautiful.
There's going to be multiple play pads for Simona, multiple games, so multiple users can use it, or just the one?
Just the one right there in the middle. The experience would be, there would be a line. You'd be held back a distance that way you're not entering the safety perimeter, since there are overlapping devices, and you need to stay at least 10 feet away from these so you don't get burned or hurt.
So the sensory experience is surrounding the player.
A complete surrounding. Your peripheral vision will be surrounded by all of this, right? At the line, you'll be provided a simulator. That way you can learn how to play this yourself. I had this company I outsourced to them. They're called Hasbro. Might have heard of them.
I seem to have seen a news article about that.
Yeah, they make this
young
differently
upstart
gendered Simona.
Yes. So I outsourced to them to produce the simulator. When it's their turn, they'll walk through a corridor to the center of the Nova. The center is going to have a game controller with 5 buttons. 4 buttons with colors, 1 white. You hit the white button, your game is started. All around you, an ambient effect of smoke and lights and lasers will fade in and out. And as you play the game, things will turn red and go boom. And you push the buttons. It'll go faster. It'll go faster. And every once in a while, you'll get to the very end. Very rare do you actually win the game of Simona.
Oh, I want to see the Simona kill screen.
Yes.
I'm going to have to bring plenty of medication.
That's when the supernova kicks in. Yeah. That's when they all go crazy. Because we know the supernova is the rarest event in the universe. It doesn't happen very often. You'll get a lot of novas. But if you can get to the end and get a supernova, you'll get a sticker.
Nice.
Yes.
The sticker at the end of the universe.
Yes.
Yeah, and since you're spending all of your money on the art project itself, you're only getting 100 stickers.
I was just thinking, don't underestimate our pattern matchers out there. We've got a lot of strong skills in a very particular area.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be people out there like, oh my God, I played this when I was a kid. This is so much fun. And those are the people who will stick around. There'll be a daytime experience with no fire. Yes, just if you want to practice, if you want to learn.
Will it still boom?
It ought to still boom, is my opinion.
Booms aren't fire.
Right. Maybe some booms, maybe some stink. Just really stuff you can interact with.
You want to add a stink spray to this? Is that what you're saying?
Just some sort of stink-based element.
I mean, the fog machines aren't going to be that impressive during the day, but if you had some actual like horrible smoke bombs, great. Yeah, like those airdrop markers.
Now we're brainstorming.
They just make things terrible for everybody in the neighborhood.
Yes. So that's Nova in a nutshell. It's loud.
That sounds so rad.
It's fire. It's lasers. It's LEDs. It's a lot of smoke.
Do you have any big concerns about execution? Anything you're worried about?
Safety.
Third. It happens third. Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest concern is Burning Man now unscrews is the test. I can't run this at home.
Makes sense.
I live in San Francisco. I've got a little yard.
Yeah, San Francisco calls the cops on you.
Yeah. I can take it to Oakland.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah. Just set it up in the middle
the
of the
cops
street.
will come by themselves,
Yeah.
but no one will say shit.
Probably the biggest concern would be the power requirement. If everything is running all at once, like we're talking peak load, I'm at 18 kilowatts so far.
That's a lot of
It's a lot of power. And so I'll be using a lot of software to make sure things don't run all at the same time. But I'm still at about 10 kilowatts, 12 kilowatts back of the napkin. And that's a lot of power. And so this needs a generator. It needs a big generator.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be on the Esplanade, I'm not going to be able to use the Illumination Village Camp Jenny because the organization tends to frown at trenching on the Esplanade and running extension cords across the Esplanade. They don't like that.
It's not the best.
Yeah. So as far as execution, that's really about it. And of all the possible concerns and problems, that can be solved.
Yeah, we've got a lot of practice at generators at Burning Man.
Yes. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of generators that can be borrowed if one needed to be found. There's a surplus.
Just wonder how much solar you'd need to get 10 kilowatts.
Oh.
See, it's all instantaneous power. It's not continuous power. So this is operated by 12 leaf blowers. Leaf blowers take a lot of power. The fog machines take a lot of power.
Fog machines do take a lot of power.
Yeah.
Is that like what kind of fog do you use that isn't all chemically, or do you just use chemically shitty fog?
It's the same stuff people put into their little vape pens and they suck into their lungs. Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna get everyone stoned, is what you're saying?
I'm buying this from Amazon.
So who knows?
Who knows what's in there? It's all glycerin based.
Yeah.
Glycerin based.
Yes.
It's just glycerin and sugars, I think. It's gross, but it's not toxic.
Is there anywhere you would like to point our listeners towards? Are you doing any fundraising for Simon Raves? Are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Do you want attention on it early? Is there anything that you would like our listeners to go and engage with you online pre-Burning Man?
Gosh, I knew this was going to come up. There is no website. There is no social media. I am not on that Face thing or that Insta thing.
Oh, I envy you.
Oh, it feels great. Unfortunately, I do miss out on the collaboration that you're offering. There are no fundraisers.
Oh, good for you. It's way to have the money to make that happen then.
I am getting a art grant from Unscrews to bring it to Unscrews.
Nice.
They're covering the cost of the fuel storage tanks. Yay! 300-pound propane tanks. Yay!
Not bad.
Did you put in for an honoraria for Burning Man?
I did not. They would have rules. I don't like that. I want my art to be something that I can do with as I see fit and not have to follow rules for what would be a drop in the bucket.
Fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the only rules you have to follow are Dave X's. His rules are awesome.
Well, that's great. You don't need any help. You're going to make this shit go.
Help can come in if anyone is able to work with a plasma cutter. If anyone can cut metal, solder. I wish there was a way to get a hold of me on these social things.
Our listeners can email us, and one of the two of you will forward
There we go.
That is the case.
Yeah.
And, listeners, you can always email accuracy3rd@gmail.com and we'll put you in touch with JM. If you live in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
you want to help out.
And you
go.
like gauges.
Nova.
Plenty of welding to do, plenty of grinding to do, plenty of plasma cutting to do. I love the plasma cutter. You point it at things and it disappears. Plenty of soldering to do. If anyone would like to contribute with software, I now have a organization created in GitHub just last night. Everything is open source. All the designs, all of the software, logos, everything is all going to be completely open source. So if anyone would like to copy it, it's the Nova cluster, Nova system, Nova something. I picked the name that was free.
If you're on GitHub, you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it. If anyone would like to copy this for future years, make more, it's all out there. I want to see more of this technology.
We'll have a Nova chain reaction.
There we go. Oh, I like that.
I was going to ask what advice you have for burners who want to get into being a multi-laureate builder of giant things at Burning Man.
Think about what you want to do and break it down into smaller pieces. Work on those small pieces, put it together. It'll take a long time. Don't give up. Don't get too exhausted by it. If you want to stop and get back to it. I had a project, it was called Poi Play. That was 5 years of development. Started that in 2003, finished it in 2008. There was a lot of stops, a lot of starts, but when it came out and was used, it was beautiful.
Poi play?
Poi, like the spinny things.
Yeah.
Yes, that. With 168 LEDs and wireless control and music syncing. I had no idea what I was doing. Take it step at a time, do the research. That doesn't mean Facebook. And and just don't give up, right? Keep trying, ask friends, read books. Do those still exist? Mm-hmm. Yes, read a book. And just don't give up, right? Keep trying. Keep trying.
On that, what is the most demoralizing thing that's happened to you with a project that you worked on?
Probably involving Poi Play. Now that you brought it up, I had a very early prototype used, and someone who is a very prominent Poi enthusiast within our community said, "Hey, can I try it?" It felt great, like, wow, you're trying this thing out. And in about 30 seconds, she handed it back. It's not bright enough. Demoralizing. But that was good feedback, right? The feedback was make it brighter.
Yeah, totally. Most of the demoralizing effects of creating stuff is good feedback.
Yes.
Despite how it may feel in the moment.
Yeah.
And, that kind of feedback, it's how it's responded to. It may not be a direct response, but it does contribute in the end.
Hey, that was JM.
Okay, so
Awful.
it's fine. It stays in. At some point, JM is talking about making shit down in Santa Cruz and having to deal with some cops that roll up on him. I, too, have dealt with the Santa Cruz beach cops.
Wow.
As a grown-ass man who had completely fucked up his knee skiing up by Mount Hood in Oregon, maybe on Mount Hood. I don't know. I'm never skiing again.
Probably
is that
so.
a skiing place?
It is.
It is. And
Well,
there's
not
nowhere
anymore
else
for
to
me.
ski by Mount Hood.
So this is like a month or two after I lost my MCL skiing for the first time in like 10 years.
What's your
at Mount Hood.
MCL?
Your median cool.
It's one of the.
It's a knee tendon or ligament.
It's an important knee thing.
It's the
It
thing
is
that's
unless
not
you got
the
really
ACL.
meaty hamstrings, in which case you can do the balancing for your knee with your muscles instead of like a rope. But I've still got a cane at this point, and it's Christmas Eve, and I'm down visiting my sister who's getting her master's degree in teaching down at Santa Cruz, whatever that university is.
UC Santa Cruz.
And we walk like the 3/4 of a mile from the house that she's renting to the beach to share a bottle of wine and walk my dogs and have like a nice 10:30 or 11:30 p.m. at the ocean in Santa Cruz on Christmas Eve.
Aw, that sounds lovely.
It was.
Except that the ocean is closed after dark.
And
And quite cold around
motherfucker,
Christmas.
this goddamn like 26-year-old cop in some sort of fucking Jeep or RAV4 tears his ass up and is just like, drop that bottle of wine. And I was just like, no, it's open. I can cork it and take it away if that's what we need to do. And he goes, you dump that out. And I was like, I don't think that that's necessary, sir. And he's just like, is that your dog peeing in the ocean? Contain your animal. And I was just like, that is not something that I can do. And he like steps fully out of his car and takes like 5 angry steps toward us.
This is on the beach.
This is on the beach in Santa Cruz. We haven't even sat down. We're kind of milling around and shouting as we do because we're loud like you. And as he takes these steps away from his official vehicle toward us, he realizes that we're not like the 15-year-olds or 19-year-olds or 21-year-olds he expects to be admonishing on the beach. Like we are all fucking grown.
Oh, yeah.
And like calm. And he starts like getting angrier and like burbling more because like he realizes that like we're not people who are really about to listen to him. And like he realizes that he's been shouting at a guy on crutches who's like, no, you don't understand. Like I can't dump this out. So I can only imagine how upset Santa Cruz cops get when you are blowing shit up on the beach. Mm-hmm. But it's not a bomb because it's a bucket.
You know, the difference between Santa Cruz cops and Oakland cops are? Santa Cruz cops have nothing to do. They are just looking for someone to find. Like, can you imagine cops in Oakland being like, hey, you're blowing stuff up, stop?
No, I can't imagine cops in Oakland doing much of anything.
They don't stop much. They kind of just troll the street for some reason.
Roll around all the time.
This is like the quietest street I have lived on, including the several incredibly quiet streets I lived on in San Francisco. By quiet, I don't mean free of fireworks. I mean people being loud. A reminder at the end of the episode for any listeners who may know who makes the booming, gigantic smoke rings and with whatever they make that with. If you know that person or are that person, please reach out to us and tell us, because if we're interested in who that person is and what they do, other people are as well. And just because you know it, because you know that person, doesn't mean you have a right to keep that knowledge from us and the community. Come on, be cool.
And for that matter, if you are not the person who makes the giant, booming, persistent smoke ring, or you don't know that person, but you are still a Burning Man person of some shape, form, or variety, we want your stories. We want your stories of what you do at Burning Man or in the Burning Man community at large.
The point is, we need information to make content. So give it.
Yes.
Please.
And we need also your music, because we love Me Rex and we use them a bunch, but we also would love to feature your music.
It is time for new music.
Especially if you make drum and bass or jungle, because I am from the 90s.
I want some house.
Stop it. We don't need any house.
Dun, 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 dun.
No house, no trance. No house, no trance. I am pleased that there's kind of a drum and bass revival happening.
I mean, you know, there was that like one beat. If we could just do everything with that one beat, that'd be great.
Which one?
Drum and bass. It's all based off of one fucking beat.
Stop it. It's based off of one instrument. You can make lots of different beats with an 808. Lots of them.
There is one drum beat that is the fucking bass line of drum and bass. It's so... God damn it. I'm going to show you a YouTube video later.
The music in this episode is a Treyzilla remix called 808s and Earthquakes, because I love the 808 so much. It's an incredible.
believe you.
Oh, no, I fucking love 808s. I learned about them because of 808 State back in the day.
Yeah, all right.
And like synths are cool. People use them real bad / weird, but it is an incredibly versatile machine that's been being used for like 35 years now.
I particularly like computer generated sound.
It's a con. It's fine, but it's a con.
Why?
For things to say. Accuracy Third is produced by Accuracy Third.
Which is us. That's the three of us.
You can email us. We have an email address. And also, we're on social media. And you know what? You know how to use DuckDuckGo or Bard or Chat GPS or whatever. So you hop there on the internet on your phone and you put in Accuracy Third and it will tell you where to go, which is to us to share your stories.
But also our email address is accuracythird@gmail.com. It's all spelled out. Accuracy Third, no numbers, just letters.
And this podcast is brought to you by our patrons. Thank you, patrons, for this incredible, slightly warmer shed than when we walked in.
If you would like to support us by becoming a patron for just $1 a month, you can get enormous quantities of our aimless ramblings. You can hear us talk on and on and on about poetry.
For $1 a month, they get some of our aimless ramblings. For $5 a month, they get an awful lot of our aimless ramblings. And for $10 a month, you get aimless ramblings now instead of a year from now in regards to the episodes we're doing now and all of the extra content like talking about poetry and theater that you can get.
But we're not really after your money. We're after your participation. So tell us your stories. Put us in your friends' ears.
I don't personally care about your story, but if your camp is doing something neat, please invite us. I would like to do neat things at Burning Man, and a lot of the people who listen to this podcast are fucking neat. And I promise it isn't just a way to lure you into recording with us. It's genuinely because we might show up at your event at Burning Man.
Yep.
So drop us a line about the cool shit your camp is doing. We may be able to show up.
And look, I know that there are a lot of streaming services out there, but your homework for the next month is to get some sort of trial or 1 month subscription to Peacock. Don't laugh yet. And watch 6 episodes of Paul T. Goldman.
All 6 episodes.
You have to watch this show.
No matter how you feel during any given episode, you have to trust your weird podcast friends and go all the way to 6.
I'm rewatching it with Joe, and he's like, I want to stop.
I am so sorry
Want to stop.
that it is on Peacock. But just so you know, it could have been on Quibi. So we're counting this as a win. Paul T. Goldman, it's this guy's name. He may annoy the shit out of you. Keep watching.
Will.
You are not watching the documentary you think you're watching.
At any point.
So if it good, you shake. Shake it up, get it straight. Go forward, go ahead. We're making music, we're making bread. So if it good, you shake. Shake it up, get it straight. Go forward, it's not too late. We're making music and we're making bass.
You got a favorite art?
Favorite art? Mm-hmm. Are we allowed to have favorites at Burning Man? Is that like...
Oh, yeah.
Is that on the list of
People
things
are
we...
petty as fuck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be your forever favorite. It's just your right now when you're sitting at the table favorite.
Let me think about this. Favorite art at Burning Man. There's so much out there. And what are their names?
You don't have to have their real names.
Yeah.
You can just describe it.
You know, thingy arm stuff.
Thingy
Yeah,
arm
with
stuff.
globes and lights.
You know, that one thing, the big butthole on a stick that towered over the city. You know.
There's so much art out there. Like, which is your favorite child? Which is your favorite puppy?
No, but I have a favorite child and a favorite puppy.
Oh, that's mean to one of your dogs.
Lulu doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
This is a really hard question. The drones.
Really?
The drones.
The drone display this year?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
There are a bunch of drones.
And you like that.
And I liked it. The amount of collaboration required to make that happen, the amount of technology the way they know where they are in space and they can get to the next spot in space and only very rarely crash. It's
So
If I had seen one of those drones crash, it might be my favorite art project too.
I saw a pretty like big drone displays early in the week this year, and I saw them and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. But it didn't like do anything for me aesthetically. It was like, oh, those are cool looking. Wow, that's some impressive technology. The way they were behaving sort of reminded me of the Cubitron back in the day, the early Tripper Trap, and it was cool, but that was about it. And then near the end of the week, I came across a drone display that was just an eye floating in space, and it was like 16-bit pixel graphics, and it was just floating there, fixed, and then it would blink and change color, and it was in full color, and that did it for me. That at that point, I'm like, okay, drones are a cool goddamn medium.
They are. I actually found where they launched and they landed, and I.
Yeah, we stumbled across that too. That was very confusing at first.
Oh, it wasn't a stumble. It was. I see. That's where the drones are. I am aiming. That's my North Star.
Yeah, that was some dark art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found it. It was unoccupied. It was just like demarcated. Like, what the fuck is all this?
These little pods of 4 or 8 with a little drone sitting there. That's where you see them crash. They have a really hard time landing.
Sure. It was a rough year. Rough year for everything.
All right, I've got an answer for you. Favorite art, not drones. It was the piece where they had stained glass art of all the art.
Oh, yeah.
That was really charming this year.
Yeah.
Called the Museum of That One Time at Burning Man.
That's brilliant,
I love the name.
right?
Right?
You just made that up.
No, that's
That's what its title was.
that one absolutely moved me to tears.
Could have had such a pretentious name. Didn't.
No, had the greatest name.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect name.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
And I loved how like small and obscure the things referenced in it were. They weren't all like Crude Awakening. There was a lot of Crude Awakening, a lot of like big scale stuff, but it was also just like, hey, remember this little art piece? We do.
A lot of nods to the artist. Can you imagine being one of the people represented there? The acknowledgement of being mirrored in that way? That would just feel amazing. Walking around and seeing your art as art.
That's got to be pretty fucking special.
Yeah.